Fame has a way of washing the truth in bright light, polished smiles, red carpet glamour, flashing cameras. But sometimes the glow hides something darker. Something dangerous. And in the case of Adriana Cole, Hollywood's most beloved rising star, that darkness would soon swallow a life, a career, and an entire nation's trust. Before we dive into the main story, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell notification button for more interesting video like this. Before the headlines called her the killer starlet, Adriana Cole was America's sweetheart. At 26, she was already on magazine covers, starring in blockbuster films, and earning awards that seasoned actors spent decades chasing. She was beautiful, talented, electric on screen, and her fans believed she could do no wrong. But behind the interviews and the glimmer of stardom, Adriana was unraveling. Drugs. Jealousy. A collapsing relationship. A growing paranoia that everyone was using her. The pressure of fame pressed against her until something inside cracked. And then Connor Hale entered the picture. Connor wasn't famous. He wasn't rich. He wasn't chasing attention. He was a struggling musician Adriana met at a charity gala, humble, quiet, everything she desperately wished her world could be. Within weeks, they were together. Within months, he moved into her mansion in the hills. But fame has a way of twisting even the purest intentions. Soon, Adriana became possessive, convinced Connor would leave her the moment she slipped out of the spotlight. She began checking his phone, monitoring his social media, canceling his gigs. Her insecurity grew teeth. And then came the night everything shattered. It was supposed to be a quiet evening, just the two of them, a private dinner, and a few drinks. But neighbors later reported hearing shouting, glass breaking, doors slamming. At 11:42 p.m., security cameras caught the moment Connor stormed out of the house and walked down the driveway, angry, frustrated, ready to spend the night away from the chaos. Adriana followed, behind the wheel of her black sports car. According to prosecutors, she was drunk, emotionally unstable, and spiraling into panic. She pressed the accelerator. Witnesses said it happened fast. A scream. Screeching tires. A thud that echoed down the quiet street. A body hitting the ground. Connor Hale died instantly. But instead of calling for help, Adriana drove away. At 2 a.m., she finally called her manager, not the police. His panicked voice messages later became viral. "Adriana, you need to tell me what happened. You can't hide this. They will find out." By sunrise, paparazzi surrounded her mansion. By noon, police had a warrant. By evening, Adriana Cole was arrested live on television, mascara running down her face, wrists locked in silver cuffs. Her mugshot, once a symbol of innocence and beauty, became the image of Hollywood's darkest fall. The courtroom was packed for every hearing. People lined up overnight just to sit inside. Every tear Adriana cried, every tremble in her voice, every whisper from her attorneys was analyzed by the public. Her defense argued it was an accident, an emotional moment, impaired judgment, a tragic mistake. The prosecution called it murder. They claimed she intentionally aimed the car at him, fueled by jealousy and a fear of abandonment. They said her fame had made her untouchable, until now. Connor's family wept through the trial, holding photos of the son, brother, friend they lost to one person's spiral into madness. After 3 weeks of testimony, the jury returned guilty. Adriana Cole was sentenced to 18 years in prison. Her movies were pulled from streaming platforms. Brands erased her endorsements. Fans who once adored her tore down posters, burned merchandise, flooded social media with rage. From a mansion overlooking Hollywood, her new home became a cold cell with a thin mattress and a metal toilet. Once surrounded by agents, stylists, and fans, now she stood alone. Fame had made her a star. But it had also fed her fears, magnified her flaws, and ultimately led her to take a life. People still debate what truly happened that night. Was it a tragic accident? A moment of drunken panic? Or was it something darker, a star who believed she could outrun consequences? One thing remains certain. Fame didn't kill Connor Hale. Adriana Cole did. But fame built the world that let her believe she never would. And when her world finally collapsed, it crushed everything beneath it. The truth that should have stayed buried ***. Prison has a way of stripping people down to their truest form. For Adriana Cole, it peeled away the glamour, the fame, and the lies, but it didn't strip away the one thing she still clung to. I didn't kill him on purpose. For months, she repeated the same words to anyone who would listen. Other inmates mocked her. Guards ignored her. Even her own family distanced themselves. But then came the letter. It arrived on a quiet morning, tucked beneath her breakfast tray, no return address, no name. Just a single sentence written in jagged handwriting. You took the fall for the wrong person. Adriana froze. Her heart hammered against her ribs. The guards brushed it off as a prank from another inmate, but something about the handwriting, the way the words carved the page, felt too deliberate. And then the second letter came. This time, inside was a photograph. A blurred image. A shadowy figure standing near her driveway on the night of the crime. Someone watching. Someone who wasn't supposed to be there. On the back, another message. He wasn't alone that night. Enter Lena Hart, a former criminal reporter turned private investigator, sharp, relentless, and infamous for reopening cases no one wanted touched. She visited Adriana in prison 6 weeks after the letters arrived. Lena laid the photos on the table between them. Someone planted cameras on your property, she said calmly. The angles, the timing, whoever sent this knows something. Adriana whispered, Connor didn't have enemies. Lena didn't blink. Are you sure about that? The question hung in the air like a blade. Connor Hale, the quiet struggling musician the world pitted, wasn't exactly the man he portrayed. Financial problems. Secret debts. Late-night meetings with people tied to illegal money lending. A hidden second phone found in his belongings. And now, evidence suggested someone was following him in the weeks before his death. Someone who didn't want those secrets exposed. Lena leaned across the table. What if Connor was running from someone the night he left your house? What if you weren't driving toward him, but someone else was coming for him? Adriana felt the world tilt beneath her. If Connor was being threatened. If someone else was there that night. What did they want? And why were they sending her warnings now? It arrived torn, dirty, almost as if the sender dropped it while running. Inside was a USB stick. On it, a single video file, time-stamped 11 minutes before Connor died. At first, it was just static. Then a car appeared, not Adriana's. A dark SUV creeping along the road near her property. It slowed. Stopped. A figure stepped out, watching Connor walk away from the house. The figure lifted something, a phone? A camera? A weapon? The last frame froze on the shadowed face before the video cut to black. But what made Adriana's blood run cold wasn't the SUV. It was the reflection on its windshield. The reflection of someone she knew. Someone she trusted. Lena replayed the last frame, zooming in until the pixels blurred into shapes. The reflection was unmistakable. A tall man. Wearing a coat Adriana recognized instantly. A piece of gold jewelry he never took off. Her manager. Elias Rowe. The same man who told her to keep quiet the night she hit Connor. The same man who handled all her statements, all her appearances. The same man who mysteriously arrived at her house just minutes after the accident, long before police were ever called. Adriana's throat tightened. He was there, she whispered. He was there before me. Lena nodded slowly. It means you might not be the one who killed Connor. But before Adriana could speak, a guard rushed into the room. There's been a situation, he said. Lena stood. What kind of situation? The guard swallowed hard. Your manager. Elias Rowe. He's dead. Adriana felt the room spin. Dead? Now? Just when the truth was surfacing? The guard continued shakily, they found him in his home. No signs of forced entry. No struggle. He hesitated. But there was a note. Lena's voice turned sharp. A note that said what? The guard handed over a slip of paper inside a plastic evidence sleeve. Lena read it silently. Her eyes widened. Adriana leaned forward, heart pounding. What does it say? Lena slowly lifted her gaze. It says, she swallowed. It says, she wasn't supposed to know. The air felt like it disappeared. Adriana's voice was barely a whisper. Know what? Lena closed the evidence folder. That, she said, is what we're going to find out. As Lena gathered the files, a distant alarm suddenly blared across the prison. Red lights flashed. Guards shouted. Inmates screamed. Adriana grabbed the table, terrified. What's happening? A guard sprinted past the glass wall. Lockdown, he yelled. Someone breached the perimeter. Lena stepped back, her eyes narrowing. That's not a break-in, she murmured. That's someone trying to get to you. Adriana's breath caught. The speakers crackled to life with a robotic voice. Someone was coming. Someone who wanted to silence her. And this time, they were already inside. Want more stories like this? Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our story because this is just getting started.